public television. Let us take you there.
Howdy.
Good to see you again.
Huh?
These are our fine use soup ladles. No, they're actually our spoon rests.
Yeah, well,
Let
it rest.
Well, we're glad to see everybody again. This is Cookin' Cheap, the show that is not pretentious. We try to be witty and funny. We are not chefs. Please quit writing and tell us about how to do stuff. We know, but we do it the way we want to.
Well, we try. Goodness knows we try. I'm just grateful that for one of the few times in our entire 16-year history that we're doing this when I have a good tan.
Well, you know, we haven't been around for a while because I've been sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you still look a little pasty.
Well, I am, and I've lost weight.
Especially compared to me and my lovely skin color.
Oh, let me do the Three Stooges move on you. No, I have had several terrible things go wrong with me. We won't go through the catalog, but it did include things like a slipped disc in my neck, and then I had cataracts in both eyes, and a stroke.
3.
And
heart attack,
finally,
4.
a major league heart attack.
5.
That's enough.
Oh,
where
okay.
I sat around for 4 days and didn't know I had it. And it fried my heart, just like Bly's going to do this beef in a minute. But anyway, we're back, we're healthy, we're okay, and I'm not dead yet.
And pretty much like I did my brain years ago. We're today doing a Southern meal.
Oh, wait a minute.
And the reason for that, of course, is we are, after all, in the star city of the South, ladies and gentlemen. Is this incredibly tacky or what? But it is wonderful.
Yes,
I love it myself
personally.
personally.
It does keep the light off your eyes, and we look like one of those country music stars, you know, like.
And the great thing is, you know, when we get finished, we can wipe up the sink with it.
But you know, we got a letter.
The mayor gave us this.
Yes, the mayor of our city in Roanoke, Virginia, here gave us this. He's a wonderful man, Mayor David A. Bowers, and God love him for giving us these hats. They're
ruined my hair for the rest of the show.
They're sort of indicative of David's character. But anyway, we got Miss Witch. Would you fly in here, please, while Larry's fixing his hair? Boink.
She bounced off of my equipment. Now be careful.
This is the letter that came in to us to get us to do this. Would you read that? Because I don't have my reading specs on.
I don't either.
Oh.
Well, do a Southern meal. Oh, do a Southern meal. I thought it was do a Southern meal.
Do a Southern meal.
We live in New Hampshire and want to know how y'all eat. What is that?
It's Juanita Yankee.
Loudmouth, New Hampshire. Well, how about that? Well, we're gonna do that.
Yep.
We'll do that. Only time I ever came home, my hair combed, and then I messed it up already. But what can you do? No, don't get it close up of it. Please don't do that.
It's just real pretty.
I have to, I'm going to do a Southern Oriental dish. Southern Oriental. I don't know why that tickles me, but it does. And I have to start out because
Who sent it in to?
Oh, it's sent in by the very lovely Ann Francis of, have you ever heard of this place, Nathalie, Virginia? Nathalie, Virginia? Nathalie, Virginia.
We'll have somebody in the back that knows how to say it.
No, I've never heard of it.
Ann Francis.
Ann Francis.
I know an Ann Francis here in where we are at Roanoke.
She's a good person. I had another half of this, and I know it's under the seat in my new car. Because it happens melting. Yes, indeed. So I'm going to throw that in there and heat that up. I'm using margarine rather than butter. It calls for either one, doesn't matter, and you need to heat it up real good. And the only other thing I'm going to do right at the moment while that's heating is I have some beef, and this is stew beef. And because stew beef is...
I knew him. He lived over on 13th Street.
He was a good man. He really was. And used to play the piano. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this up a little bit because I think these pieces are unconscionably large.
They are. So for those that are toothily challenged, it's real hard. if you got a plate, you just can't handle.
So I'm just going to cut these into smaller pieces.
Just
what I'm going to do.
Well,
that's all I'm going to do for a while. So you just have a good time. Go at it, Mr. Johnson, one time.
Well, this recipe is a pie. All of us in the South are just famous for loving pies, and we do. But this one I wanted to do because it's so peculiar. It's called a Cairo. It's a syrup pie. Syrup pie. You could use Cairo. You could use any other cane syrup or honey, and we're going to use honey today. And it doesn't have any list of. It's got a list of ingredients, but it says do it the way you want to, just like Grandma used to do. So, lousy, we're going to try, but we have no idea how this thing's going to come.
Grandma used to go down to the store and buy them, as I remember.
Now, so we're going to make a paste out of the ingredients at hand, which is breadcrumbs, and please don't use the Italian ones, use the plain ones. And you can make them yourself if you're real cheap and smart, and a lot of people have gotten on to doing that. You just let them dry out a little bit and put them in the oven for just the tiniest little bit of time at low heat, and they'll dry out, and then you can run them through your processor. Or if you've got a little child at home, they can, with their little teeny fingers, just crunch them up, and that way they can get all of their kind of anger out.
By the way, I need, before I forget it, and I know I'm going to, I need to put on some rice.
Oh,
so I'm going to have some water boiling.
Well, are you going to use that real sticky kind that will stick to your skin and look so good on you, like a woolly shirt?
I put that stuff in there. I'm using a little of this little success rice today because it's so easy to take on the road with you.
It is. Just throw it down in there. Now, I've got some, I haven't measured this, but that looks like about 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs down in here. And to that, I'm going to add some nutmeg. Just plain, and we don't grate it around here too often because we keep losing it or the mice eat it at night. And nutmeg is a real strong spice, so don't use, just tons of it. It'll overpower everything you're cooking. But I'm putting in a couple of pinches worth of nutmeg. And for those of you that don't cook all the time, a pinch is just like put some in your hand and pinch it and throw it down in there. That's what a pinch is. And you get some lemon peel, and just take your old grater and grate some peel off the lemon.
People see me getting close to this Teflon surface with this knife. I'll be getting letters. I know I will, but I've had this. Tootsie gave me this electric frying pan. And Johnson, haven't you and I have been on the road?
We have used that all over this country.
This frying pan has just logged thousands of miles.
And you just keep on doing it down in here. Now, this recipe that I'm doing, this syrup recipe, it is not for you that have diabetes. And I've been cooking a lot with artificial sugar of various brands and kinds, but this, you just have to have the sugar in it, so I will only have a taste of it at the end of the show because I don't want it to affect my health, sight, vision, or any of the other problems, feet, and all that stuff. And it's a shame. We're going to do some recipes this year where we can throw some non-sugar stuff into it and make it real good, but not today.
Okay, I've got my beef on now. Oh, there's that wad of stuff I was looking for. Well, no, that's the one I cut it from.
That's...
Well,
I guarantee it's in your car.
You see one, you see it all. Yeah, about 6 months from now, I'll be going down the highway wondering what's going on in my car. All right, now I've got this turned up way up on high. It's up to about 2,000 degrees now. And we're going to start cooking that. The first thing you do is you add the onions, and this actually calls for 2 tablespoons of dried chopped onions. So that's what I got.
Well, Larry, have you know they cleaned this kitchen up right smart?
Oh, is that so?
Oh. Well, it was used for several other shows while we were gone. I think they did one of those home shows where they put cabinets up and all that stuff. So,
doesn't that smell good?
Yes, it does.
Who could argue with that? Now you got to fry that for about 5 or 10 minutes or until it's brown. So there's all I can do for the moment.
All right. Now, I've got my lemon peel in with my breadcrumbs, and that's the grated peel of a lemon. You could put more if you wanted to. Yes, it does. And now I'm going to make a paste out of it with some honey, and that will form the body of our pie. Doesn't that sound kind of the body of our pie? Sounds like a religious ritual.
Well, I have gotten grease all over my recipe already, and I hadn't been here 3 minutes. I'm going to be adding soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, garlic powder, and meat tenderizer. I think that's right interesting. And pepper. I guess that's the southern part of this, don't you reckon? The meat tenderizer part.
Oh, I have so many things to mix with.
I don't get it.
Oh, just all these little spoons. Doris has just outdone herself.
She has. She's rustled up all of these fine dishes for us, and you'll be seeing some of them later on. And she'll be in here in a little bit also. We've had a lot of people asking if she's been sick.
And she hasn't. She's been sick and tired.
She's the only one that hadn't been sick in this whole bunch, except for me, and my health is fine.
But
my life isn't too fine, but my health has been real great.
His health is fine. He is robust.
Oh, I can't do that.
As opposed to gut.
10 minutes on that rice.
All right, maybe you ought to go over all those ingredients in case anybody's cooking with us at home.
All right, Southern Oriental by Anne Francis. A half a stick of butter or margarine, 3 to 4 pounds of stew beef. That's not quite 3 to 4 pounds, but I'm just fixing what I want to here. Half a cup of reduced soy sauce. Reduced sodium soy sauce.
Oh.
Is what a quarter of a teaspoon of seasoned meat tenderizer, a half cup Worcestershire sauce, tablespoon of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of dried chopped onion, pepper to taste, and cooked noodles or rice. I'm doing rice today.
Well, you know, Bly, your recipe sounds great. And I'm glad you're using that low-sodium soy sauce. You know, most people don't realize how salty soy sauce is. Can you say that real fast?
Soy sauce is?
Right. And it is terribly salty, but you can get a low-sodium variety of it that's quite good. So look for that. And I'm just stirring this stuff. I've added some more honey. I guess, what have I put in there, Doris? Maybe a cup and a half of honey? I'm not measuring because it said don't do it, but I'm trying to make this paste.
Ooh, now that looks good.
Well, it does.
Isn't it? And it goes with the bowl. Have you noticed it? It goes perfectly with the bowl.
These bowls are
all the colors and everything
are from our friends down in Bedford, Virginia at the Emerson Creek Pottery, and they have given us a lot of fine dishes to use this year on the air so that we don't look too terribly trashy. It's okay to look tacky, but you don't want to look trashy. All right, now, I think I might...
What are we going to do about us?
I'm just...
Oh, hey, you.
I'm just thinking maybe I want to...
It's already started, Johnson.
I know.
She's already started.
Over there.
We haven't been here 15 minutes, or at least I don't think we have. And she's already started with her little snappy remarks off to the side.
You know, when I was laying there nearly dead in the hospital, I kept
She came in and hit you, remember that?
Yeah, she dressed up like a nurse and came in and
smacked you upside the head.
It was terrible.
I'll never forget, it was terrible.
They were just horrified. We had to put a sign up on the door to keep everybody out so I would not be nudged. Oh, this lemon smells so good. Lemon is just wonderful. I guess if you wanted to, and I don't right now, you could actually squeeze these bad boys and put the lemon juice in this pie too. But I want to tell you, the essence of the lemon taste and smell is in the oil that's in here. So I'm just keeping away at that. Well, while we're talking about her so much, why don't we bring in the queen of backstage at Cookin' Cheap, the hardest working woman in show business, the lovely and ever popular Doris Ford.
Okay.
And Doris has made something up.
Doris, just step right over here. Don't be shy.
I'm not.
Let me move these.
Can you find a place to put
out of the way?
Ooh, look at this. This is a beautiful corn pudding she has made up here.
This corn pudding is from Diane Anderson from Waynesboro, Virginia, up near Charlottesville.
That's near my neck of the woods, you know.
And It's very, very simple to make. You just whip together sugar and 6 eggs, and excuse me, and your mixer, and then just add your corn, cream corn, whole corn, and then put a little nutmeg on top and some butter and bake it in the oven for about an hour. It takes a half a cup of sugar, and that to me might be a little too sweet. I don't like sweet, but I guess Southerners like sweet, right?
Oh, we like
sweet.
But,
That's why we have Miss Doris
Doris,
Brown.
what could we do with this to make it safe for me to eat?
I
We could use
probably-
egg beaters or something, couldn't we?
Yeah, because it has 6 eggs in it,
Right.
and when I make it at home, I
6
use
eggs.
Yes, 6 eggs, and when I make it at home, make my own, I use what I call fakey eggs.
You're right.
Yeah,
I don't
probably
think
didn't make
Johnson
mine
ought to be
that
eating
good.
this.
You could barely
6
eat it.
eggs.
6 eggs, and this will kill them too. A half a cup of sugar. And you said that you can
Yeah,
get
you
this
can
new,
use, there's a relatively new product out now that you actually can use and bake with that measures out the same for sugar, so you could use that, and or not the same as sugar, but close to it. It'll tell you on the box about it.
and
But
you could, and there's no salt or anything in
Right.
it, so you could adjust it
Yeah.
for somebody that's not well.
So you just have to experiment, folks, and that's what this show is all about. And actually, Southern cuisine is that, you know, if you taste something that tastes good, it might taste better with peanut butter on it or something like that.
I
But-
got to do something over here. Oh, you're
Okay.
going to give your recipe?
No,
Well, my beef is burning.
Is this something that we're supposed to do now? Do your recipe, say it as you go along?
Oh, well, if you want to, go ahead and do
Okay.
it.
Being that you brought it up.
Yeah.
I didn't. You did. A half a cup of sugar, 6 eggs, 1 can evaporated milk, 2 cans corn, 1 cream style, 1 whole kernel, a dab of nutmeg, and a dab of butter on top, and bake it for an hour at 350.
And
All right.
you can use the evaporated skim milk in here, too. So there's all kinds of ways you can do it to make it come out to suit
I
you.
need to add some stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
Half a cup of soy sauce at this point goes, because this beef is perfectly, I'll just put a little bit more. This beef is perfectly brown at this point. And half a cup of Worcestershire sauce goes in at this point. So we'll put some of that in there. Oh dear. The hole has healed up and it won't come out. Half a cup. That's an awful lot, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There we go on that. And at this point, you put your meat tenderizer and your garlic powder in there too, which is a teaspoon of seasoned meat tenderizer. That's a tablespoon. That's a quarter of a, well, 1, 2,
Oh.
3, 4. That should be more
I
than
think
enough.
that's more
Yeah.
than enough.
And then a tablespoon of garlic powder. Boy, that's a lot of garlic powder too, isn't it? I think I'm going to go just a
Oh, I
little
think
light
so.
on that.
You
So
might
to-
offend somebody as the evening goes on
Well,
if you put that much in.
All right, and now what you got to do is cook this stuff down. That's why I needed to get it in there so it has a chance to sort of thicken up just a wee little bit. Mr. Johnson, it's all yours.
Have you noticed something? I've been watching while I've been sick a lot of other shows on TV.
Well, now that's your first
and
problem
some of
right
those
there.
high-price shows will say, and you put in this much garlic, and they show it's all. I know that's canned garlic. That is jarred garlic. They have not been around. They're cutting that garlic up in all those little things. And actually, it is better to use that than the garlic powder. But if that's what the recipe calls for, that's what it calls for. Do it that way first time, then next time you do it yourself.
She never forgets anything.
Oh, Doris brought
brought the breath savers, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, good for her. But can she do
And I'm
anything
gonna-
about the gas that will appear later on?
I'm going to add a little pepper also at this point. You remember, you don't need to add any salt to this by any stretch of the imagination. And now we just got to let it caramelize and
Well,
thicken
while
up.
you're doing that, I'm going to put the pie crust on for this pie. And not being like Miss Natalie Dupree, who makes, you know, her own crust, we're just using the boxed fresh kind, and it is just fine. You're supposed to flour the bottom of it a little bit, but I didn't bring the flour, so that's okay. And I got to tell you, when you're putting it down in your pan, don't just push it in there. Try to lift it up and help it down in there, because if you stretch it too much, it won't do right while it's cooking.
Do right.
Do right. You remember?
Dudley, do right. What will it do? Pucker up.
Yeah, it won't do right.
Oh,
It just
do
won't.
right.
And then you want to go along and put your crust down a little bit like that. And I'm going to show you how Grandma taught me to do pie crust later on, make it look pretty. So now I'm going to put all of this. Oh,
that is really thick. Looks like Mount Vesuvius, or one of those mounts.
Well, I haven't cut the one we brought in today.
Uh-oh.
But we'll see. Doris is saying right over there. Oh, look at this. Anyway, you put it, well, there's still tons of it in here. Holy cow, I might have another heart attack just holding this bowl up this long. There we go.
And it's just the right amount, Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Came out real good.
I haven't been here so long, I forgot where the paper towels were. I'm running around trying to find stuff today.
Well, let me just rake that on down in there. I hope this is good.
Ooh-wee. I'm going to cut this off because it has finally reached a nice, I don't know whether you can see that or not, a real nice thick consistency. See? It's almost like a gravy. It's just real pretty. In a couple of minutes, we'll do something else with it.
All right. Now, I'm going to put the other crust on the top of this. Be sure you let these things warm up a little bit, because if they're real cold, they'll break or tear sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to put it on like this.
I'm draining my rice.
All right. Now, you now have your pie, and you want to do your crust real neat, so you can do it any number of ways, but the way I do it is like this. Just put your thumbs together and around the edge and
put your
squeeze
hands
it.
together and everybody clap.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, don't talk about the hokey pokey. We'll get in trouble because it is of dubious origin.
I don't know whether you all have noticed this or not, but back on this sink, they have installed a new device. It's just wonderful. It is a rice holder. Your hand's in the way, Johnson. Your hand's in the way. It's a rice holder.
I'm trying.
Isn't that just clever? It can be.
Oh, how nice.
Oh, maybe.
Off our water freshener.
Uh-huh.
All right, now I'm still mashing these. You see, you just put them on the edge, and you kind of feel the edge of the pie plate and push together.
I need some scissors.
This is called the thumbprint style.
Oh, use a knife.
Here's a knife.
She says.
Here's a knife.
All right, now I'm going to trim the edge of this, if I can figure out which side of this is the blade. Oh, look at this. It's going to do, I think, just fine. Now, I know we've said it on this show a million times, Larry, but once you get through trimming, and you're going to put it in the oven and cook it until it's done and brown at about, 350 degrees? Now, okay, so it might need to go at 375 until the crust gets brown and looks good. Now, if we were really in the South, which we are, and Grandma was still alive, you'd take this piece of pie dough and roll it out real thin, and then spread it with sugar and cinnamon and raisins and any little bit of nuts if you've got the time, and then you roll it up and put it in the oven, and we called it a beehive. And it's real good.
This is what this looks like when it's all finished up, and I think that we need to eat it.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it pretty? It's lovely. I think I'd have made a little more sauce. If I had a little more time, I'd played a little more around with it, but I didn't have time.
Here is
well, there's a
one
large
pie.
chair in the way.
Oh, that was my high chair in case I fell out. And what is this pie, Doris? Come on in here.
One's got an H, one's got
Well, what's the H pie?
honey.
Honey. Oh, this one is made, same pie, one is made with honey and one is made with Karo syrup.
You might want to see what the difference is.
All right.
I'm going to try this corn pudding. Put your plate over here.
All right. Thank you. Now, let me cut it. While you're tasting that, I'm going to cut it.
Well, I'm going to try this
Ooh,
southern
this
stuff.
pie is definitely...
The southern Oriental rice is real good. No, really, it's very simple.
This pie, I'm telling you.
Too bad we didn't bring that hatchet along.
All right. No, it
The
looks...
corn pudding is
Yeah, it looks real good.
real sweet. Let me try this pie.
You could probably leave the corn pudding out of it. Let me try your beef Oriental. Got a good flavor to it.
You know, Johnson, I hate to tell you this, but
What?
I'm not real wild about this pie. Now, I know that lady over in Benton will write me a horrible letter. Says you never like anything Johnson does. I do. I usually do, but well, it's real gummy. Gummy pie. It's a gummy pie.
Well, let me try.
But I do like the beef Oriental.
Maybe you should make it soupy.
What do you think, Johnson?
You're right. It's gummy. It's got a nice flavor. It really does. But it's definitely one for people with good teeth.
Maybe it has some ice cream.
And I'll tell you, I really do. I don't like real sweets. You know, I don't like for things that aren't traditionally sweet to be sweet. So I think this is just a little tad on the sweet side.
Well, you could leave the sugar out.
Leave the sugar out, it'll be perfect. Well, that's it. We're going to leave ourselves out of here right now.
Hello, this is Miss Carol. If you would like to have a copy of this season's recipes, send $4.95 plus $2.50 postage and handling to WBRA-TV, Cookin' Cheap, 1600 Series, P.O. Box 13246, Roanoke, Virginia 24032.